Hello everyone and welcome to another special episode where we will be interviewing some contestants from the past PvP tournaments, and they're going to give you some tips on how they prepared for their PvP battles. My name is Justin, I'm the community manager for War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave EXVIUS. And today I would like to welcome the War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave EXVIUS Championship 2023 Manual Battle Heindler Cup second place winner, Isvar. He's going to give some advice on how he prepared for his tournament, so let's dive on in. Hello everybody, welcome back here. I have Isvar here. He is a previous PvP manual participant, and we're going to go over some information and everything that he has for his setup for his PvP teams. Hello and welcome.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. I'm sure everybody's excited to hear a little bit on the manual PvP side of things. So yeah, interested to get your thoughts and your inputs here. We have a little bit of an interview, some questions set up, so I think we should just dive right onto it. If you want to give a little intro and maybe when you started playing War of the Visions, that would be great.
All right. Hey, I'm Isvar, and I downloaded the game at launch, and I was kind of off and on. It's kind of my first mobile game that I've really sunk time into, and I was on the verge. I hadn't opened the game in a while, and I was on the verge of, not playing anymore. But it was during the second Final Fantasy Tactics banner when Delita and Agrius came out, and I was like, you know what, I'll use all my Visior trying to get Agrius, and if I get her, I'll play the game. And on the last pull of the last Viz I had, I got her, so here I am.
Well, there we go.
But it's been a great ride since then.
Awesome. So that was, if I remember correctly, that was like maybe 6 months or 7 months or so after the game came out.
Yeah, so I was playing off and on before then, but that moment was when I was like, okay, this is a game I'm going to play.
Cool. Well, glad to have you. I'm glad you stuck around with us. So getting into your perspective or your thoughts, inputs, and stuff on manual PvP. I know it's a totally different beast here than auto PvP. You were in a previous tournament, so how did you feel? Were you excited when you were selected as a contestant?
Oh, very exciting. I participated in a lot of community tournaments, but it's a different thing when you get picked to be on official tournaments and YouTube videos and stuff like that. That's very exciting. So I was very pumped to get in there and do my thing.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. It's been a lot of work getting everything running here for multiple months. But
I bet.
The contestants are enjoying it. So yeah, when you're looking to set up a team, what are your strategies or your thought process? Because you got 3 units, so in your manual PvP, so are you looking to do a yes and a tank or a healer? How do you start setting up a team?
So when I'm setting up a team, the first thing you look at is the rule set. Not the first thing you do is look at your rule set. So what's allowed, what's disallowed, etc. So for these manual tournaments, the official ones we're doing, the Quicken is banned in all of them, which Quicken strategy is in manual PvP something you absolutely must account for 100% of the time. So you are either running Quicken yourself or have a way to shut Quicken off for the opponent, which is usually Uni, or you have some other way to get to them. Now, so Quicken is one thing you always prepare for, and evasion is something you always have to prepare for. You want to have some kind of answer for evasion, because if you do not, and you happen to run into somebody running evade, it can turn into an auto loss, and you just didn't have a chance to fight. So those are the 2 main things: is Quicken / CT up strategies, that where the opponent gets more turns than you, and evasion. So you look at what's allowed, those 2 strategies. How do you have a way to deal with those things? So from there, I say, okay, so within the rule set that is put out, what's the optimal strategy? Try to figure out what most people are going to be going for, what I expect to see. And then once I figure out what the optimal strategy is, I figure out, okay, what do I want to do? Because I never want to do what's optimal. I want to play, I use a bunch of old units that nobody in their right mind is going to be using, but I like to do it. So I figure out, okay, what strengths can I leverage? What do I have to do to make sure I don't instantly die to Bradley or Elia or something? So I figure out what's going to be optimal, what do I expect to see, and then I bring in my answers to that. And as far as DPS versus tanks versus healers, in manual, the focus is heavily skewed towards your DPS. How are you going to win the game? And often you don't need a tank because the opponent is going to target the most important thing, regardless of hate mechanics, right?
Right.
Not to say that tanks can't be useful. I've used King Mont, for example, a lot in PvP, and he has a lot of use because he's very hard to take down, can get across the map very quickly, and can disable the enemy team. Just berserk bomb and they're done. So they have to be very conscious of his threat range, right? But other than people like King Mont, it's hard to leverage tanks in manual unless you're going for an outlast and AP denial strategy. Supports / healers are more common. Usually they have some sort of time magic like haste or quicken, but healers can really turn on more bulky strategies where you're trying to outlast your opponent, which is something I really like to do. So I use healers a lot. People like Minwu's 80 cost, so you tend to go downwards in cost to someone like Naya, Phoebe, people like that. So you can focus your cost on your damage and allow the supports to enable you for less cost.
I see. Very insightful. And those Naya and stuff, I've noticed that they're very popular in manual PvP, probably for that reason.
Yes, exactly. But so Naya specifically, she'll show up all the time if Quicken is not allowed, right? If Quicken is allowed, why are you having a white mage that can't cast it? Get Phoebe in there, get Chell in there, right? But that's part of the ebb and flow. You just have to recognize per the rule set how you want to take advantage of it and what units get you there.
Okay. Very interesting. So when you say you have to account for evade a little bit, so like I run water most of the time, and fire evade is usually what most fire people are. So do you use like an equipment slot and put like the Alexandrite ring, or do you focus more on the TMRs for a little bit of accuracy, or what do you do there?
So it's character based for me. So if I am running a team, say that, and none of the characters I want to use have guaranteed hits, then I have to make sure that one of the characters I want to use, at the very least, can be built for accuracy. And when you build for accuracy, you have to go all the way. It is not enough to simply use an Alexandrite ring. You have to use an Esper that has accuracy, you have to use vision cards that have accuracy, trust stones for luck and accuracy, in-game buffs, TMRs, etc. Now, somebody like Bradley, Winged Stern, etc., they may not need an in-game buff to reach the required levels of accuracy. Stern has one himself. Bradley has increased accuracy on calculated Ren, stuff like that. But if you're trying to use a more circumspect unit, but they can be accurate, you'll want to get accuracy Trustmasters or abilities from your other units. So like Valide is a very low cost green mage, and his Job 25 ability grants 60 accuracy to everyone in a diamond radius. So he is someone that I go to a lot when I'm trying to shore up accuracy further beyond just the actual party build.
Okay, very interesting.
And sure hits nowadays are becoming less and less reliable than just building accuracy, because we're getting more units that can nullify the effects of sure hits.
Right. So my next question here was, how do you build your characters? I feel like you answered that very clearly here so far, but if you have any other input into that, I'd love to hear it.
Just personal style. I prefer to have bulkier characters who can survive a few hits. But generally, as far as how should you build your characters, it's what are you trying to counter? Or are you trying to simply augment the strengths of the units? You have to look at what's available to you and say, this helps me against this matchup, or this augments this specific strength that I am trying to capitalize on, and that's my strategy. So it's rule set dependent, but you know, there's certainly all-star equipments and VCs that show up again and again.
Right. So with like the fog of war or whatever, like never knowing who you're going to go against, it would probably not be advisable to go full in on like dark resist.
Well, it depends, right? So that first class match after Sephiroth was released, it's a pretty fair it was a pretty fair bet to say that you should bring some dark resistance, and maybe, you know, Lucio can get in there and stop the Sephiroth menace. But yes, generally you want to build for more numerous applications than niche counter builds. Now, if one team is far and away the most popular, yeah, you can bop in some counter builds for that and see some good dividends be paid from that. But yes, you are correct. And that's what makes stuff like area resistance and unit resistance specifically so strong, is because those two stats combined reduce all damage from everywhere, and until this point in the game, there is no way to penetrate that defense. So unit resistance and area resistance, as well as agility, are the most important things to build for.
So do you have any favorite vision cards or espers or TMRs or anything that you go for?
So vision card wise, probably it's a big joke in my guild because I talk about it all the time. But Silver Memories is one of my favorite cards. It has 4 different job groups on it. It gives you a big 60% boost to magic, which is really nice. But the big thing it grants is 20 AoE resistance. So just like I was saying, the AoE resistance is great. It gives you one of the 3 key stats you need, while also being an offensive card for your magic users if you have them. The card has Greatsword on it, so you don't have to be all magic users, although Rain, of course, gets the benefit of all those stats. So Silver Memories is one of my favorite cards. I always build around it. There's a new card coming out soon that I'm looking to build around, but I don't have any future vision. Trustmasters, there's in manual. I'll talk about manual specifically. Movement, how far and how your move and jump is very important to how strong you are. So some Trustmasters I particularly like there would be Kane's Trustmaster, gives you haste and move +1, and Sweetheart Ildira's Trustmaster gives you move and jump +1 as well as single target resistance buff, which is again a combination of 2 of the most powerful things you can be building for in manual.
Yeah, that's very good information. Haste and move and jump and ability and everything, yeah, it sounds very important in manual.
Yes, because I mean, as you were saying earlier, you don't want to, be so frail that you die to a stiff wind. You still want to build some, or tanks can still be useful, but really, in some manual matches, if you simply outmaneuver your opponent, you'll never get hit. You just beat them. So speed, movement, and when you need it, area and AoE resistance, or area resistance and unit resistance.
I see. So when you're looking to get into practicing, how do you generally practice? I know you mentioned the class match earlier. Is that one of the ways that you do it?
So class match, typically you want to have practice before you go into class match, because that's where the ranking takes place.
Right.
But
it is practice nonetheless, though.
It is still practice, yes. You still get experience by doing the class matches. Which, if someone listening has not tried manual in class match, I would recommend at least trying it. It's daunting at first, but if you get through the initial bump of what am I doing, what's going on here, oh, I ran out of time, oh no, my turn, it's really fun. But anyways, as far as practicing goes, I have met over the course of playing the game a lot of people from fighting them in class match or the other people in my guild, or there's a live PvP Discord that I am in. And in any of these places, either private DMs or just in those Discord servers, I can go and ask, hey, I've got this rule set on this map. Does anyone want to make a team and do some, scrims? Does anyone want to practice? And that is the best way to find out if your idea is completely half-cooked and not going to do anything, or if, you've got some legs and you can beat stuff. And people will usually be very willing to try and build a team that you're trying to see if you're going to do well against, if they have it on their account. But generally the best resource is just other players, who you've met, or who, join a Discord that focuses on PvP and say, hey, does anyone want to help me with this? And generally people like to do it because it's fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know the manual PvP community is very passionate about manual PvP.
We are. We always want new people to fight.
Indeed. Well, hopefully we can get some from this interview here and inspire some people to join manual PvP.
Please hit me up. I'm more than happy.
Cool. So I know character abilities and how they are used is much more important in manual than auto. So do you have all of the abilities memorized for the characters in the game, or when you're coming into a match, do you know exactly what to expect from all three characters on the other team?
I wouldn't say that I have every ability memorized 100%, but if you mean, when I see any 3 units across from me, do I know what they're capable of? Yes, I do. And I have a bit of advantage in that case, in that I've been playing the game since the beginning. So I've been there for the release of all of them. So when they were new, I could see it. So yeah, I generally know what to expect. But even if, that is not a necessary requirement for PvP, there are external resources that can help you figure out what units do, what's capable. And even when I'm in a match, I can pull up on my computer War of the Visions calc and see, okay, how much range does this have? I don't remember, or I haven't seen that unit in 2 years. What do they even do now? So generally I know what people are capable of, but it's hard knowledge is more important than a general feeling.
I see. So other than the website that you just mentioned, do you get any other information from anywhere else?
Well, YouTube videos, people like JB79, the Leonis Report podcast, stuff like that. And the Discords that I'm in, between the guild, the main Discord, and the live PvP Discord, generally any new information is posted pretty quickly, so I'm able to look at that and discuss with people, is this any good for PvP? What's going on? Stuff like that. So YouTube videos, Discords, War of the Visions calc. I cannot recommend War of the Visions calc enough.
It is a cornerstone of a lot of the community. So next question here. So you're obviously a part of a guild. So what guild are you a part of, and in what way do you interact with your guild members?
So I am in the guild Hokuten, which is a Final Fantasy Tactics reference. We're not at the top of the competitive scene for Guild War. We're ranked 26th, I believe. And yeah, decent, but we just say, hey, build your strong team. We're not going to tell you what to take to Guild War. It's just build what you want to build and work on it. I regularly take Elda to guild battle, if that tells you anything. But as far as how I interact, I do my guild battles every day. Right now we're doing guild raids and figuring out the best comps for that. And really, the way I even got recruited for the guild in the first place was by being known in manual PvP. People coming up against me in class match and saying, hey, they're pretty good at PvP. And Hokuten specifically has a lot of live PvP players in it, and that's kind of a sub-focus of the guild. So they're like, hey, come join and talk, and we'll talk about PvP and what's good, what's bad, all that stuff. So Yeah, just the normal guild stuff. I'm fairly involved.
Yeah, that's good to hear. For anybody out there that's listening to this, if you're not in a guild or maybe in a guild that's pretty inactive, join an active guild. It'll make your life much better. Promise.
It definitely gives you something to do, gives you a community to be a part of.
For sure.
If you can find the right, kind of people, the same mindset that you have, whatever mindset you have, look for that kind of guild. Mm-hmm. Don't join a guild that's more competitive than you are. Don't join a guild that's less competitive than you are. You got to find the sweet spot.
I see. That's good advice. So moving on here, we actually have a tournament this weekend as of recording this video. So if you're watching these tournaments or, you're a viewer of these tournaments, are you looking at anything specifically? Are you just enjoying the fun? Are you analyzing how people use units or anything like that?
Well, analyzing is more than half the fun for me. So absolutely I am analyzing what's going on. In a manual fight, one of the first things you look at is where are the units positioned? How are they moving them? What space are they using? How many tiles away from the opponent are they staying? Are they correctly gauging the threat ranges, stuff like that? So that's a learned skill you get from playing manual that is very easy to tell if there's a lot of experience from the person piloting the team. So that's the first thing I would see and notice and look at when I'm watching one of these tournaments. And then the next thing is what units are they actually bringing? Because I always want to see something I didn't expect do very well. And that's super fun for me. So I'll definitely always have a look out for unique unit combinations that I hadn't thought of and whether or not it works.
I see. That's interesting. Yeah, we've talked to a couple people so far, and a few of them have been like, I just kind of watch, or, some of them take the more analytical look.
Yeah.
There's always lots to learn.
Absolutely. Even if you're not, especially if you're not the one playing, when you can analyze both sides. But if you are also playing, it's worthwhile to re-watch a match that you participated in and see if you can notice where you went wrong or where the opponent went wrong and you capitalized. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, always something to learn.
Indeed. So we've had several tournaments so far, and we have the finals one coming up in winter. Are you looking forward to it? Are you hoping to be a part of it?
I am very much looking forward to it, and I am also very much hoping to be a part of it because, I had a very close series with Urza, and I want to get back in there, and I'm hoping there's a collaboration coming up that I'm very excited for, and that is my favorite Final Fantasy. So I am looking forward to utilizing some new units in there, and really, whether or not I win, right? Which winning would be fun, right? But I wanna bring some spice to the final tournament. I would love to do that.
All right. Well, good luck. If you do get selected in the next manual tournament, I'll be rooting for you.
I appreciate it.
So, do you have any final advice for potential or future PvP players that may be listening to this?
So, for potential players, what I would say is, yes, winning is important, but I would say that what is more important is how you win. And because if you get focused solely on optimizing for victory, you kind of optimize the fun out of the game. Unless, some people just like to win, and that's another part. But personally, I find that if you win using units that you like, it's a lot more fun. It means a lot more to you. So try and, you may fail many times, but find out what that unit is actually good at. What can you leverage on them, on their moveset? I mentioned Elba a few times. in that first class match after Sephiroth came out, everybody's running 140 Sephiroth right when Transcendence hits. I brought Elda. And what does he have now? What can I do with him? It was, I was, okay, well, let's go sub Lancer and get Mana Strike and then get rid of all of Sephiroth's mana. Now he has to use Veil of Woe again. All right, let's find out what we can do. That is the beauty of manual PvP, is making miracles happen with units you'd never expect, and getting out there and showing them what for. So, perseverance, and just play what you like.
I like that. You're not a meta chaser.
Well, I'm not going to look down on anybody who does that, because that is, you're obviously looking at objectively what is the strongest, and if your objective is to win, why would you not use what is strongest? I have no aspersions to cast on anybody who plays the most optimal way. But that is not the only way to play, and my advice is to find the way to play that works best for you. What makes me the happiest is beating optimal strategies with suboptimal strategies. So try that out. If there's somebody you like, you want to use, don't get discouraged because they're not, Sephiroth, Bradley, or Elia tier. Go see if you can find a way to beat them. That's the puzzle. That's the puzzle of it. That's what's fun for me.
Yeah, that's a big.
It might be for you. Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. Well, I don't have any further questions for you, so I wanted to thank you very much for taking your time to do this interview with us today. And on behalf of the players out there that are watching this, thank you very much for the insightful manual PvP information that you shared as well.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm always here to talk about War of the Visions.
Nice, cool. Well, thank you very much again. That is going to do it for our interview here today. All right, thank you very much for that interview, Isvar. That was some great information, and hopefully that helps you guys out there when you're preparing for your tournaments. The last chance qualifiers for the Championship 2023 Manual Battle, the Google Cup, will be held in November. So be sure to join the official Discord server so you are prepared when the registration begins on October 14th. We also have a very special event coming up this weekend on September 30th at 6 o'clock PDT or 18 with Auronnj and Ready Player Will, where they will be giving some live advice on Manual Battle PvP on Auronnj's YouTube channel live. This will be a live stream. 5 lucky players may get a chance to receive a live consultation from them live on the air. All you have to do is fill out the application form in the description below to get a chance to be chosen. And this application form will be available until September 24th at 11 o'clock PDT. But if you weren't chosen, do not worry. You will still be able to ask questions and hang out in the live stream on the Discord server in the chat. They might be able to catch your questions and answer it live on the air. So if you're not in the Discord server, join the Discord server and be part of that event. Maybe your questions can be answered. But that's going to do it for today. So thank you very much, Isvar, and thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.